Kiev will aim to secure the reopening of food and grain transit via Poland as a first step at talks in Warsaw on Monday, Ukraine's agriculture minister said, after Poland, Slovakia and Hungary announced bans on some imports from Ukraine. Some Black Sea ports were blocked after Russia's invasion of Ukraine began in February last year, and large quantities of Ukrainian grain, which is cheaper than that produced in the European Union, ended up staying in Central European countries because of logistical bottlenecks. This hit prices and sales for local farmers, putting pressure on governments that had turned to the European Union for action before Warsaw and Budapest took their own decisions over the weekend. Poland's ban on grain, in effect since Saturday evening, also applied to transit through the country. Officials have said it is meant to keep grain transported through Poland from entering the Polish market. Today's meeting proves that the dialogue between Poland and Ukraine continues. On Saturday, the Minister of Development and Technology signed a decree banning the import of agricultural products from Ukraine. The document will remain in force until the 30th of June. The ban applies not only to grain, but also to sugar, honey and meat. In 2022, we decided to liberalise, but this time is continuing. The war is continuing. Even after the war is over, there will probably be no dues to support Ukraine. In this perspective, we want the Union to think about a system that distributes equally products from the Ukraine that enter the single market. Along with Poland, Hungary and Slovakia have also decided to ban imports of Ukrainian grain. The decisions of both countries are temporary. With today's resolution, we are not introducing a transit ban through corridors of solidarity to the ports so that the production from Ukraine intended for third markets outside Ukraine could continue. All products that are currently on the market and also originate from Ukraine are under surveillance and all are being analysed. If the decree prohibiting imports to the territory of Slovakia is approved, it will not only be about imports, but at the same time we will also prevent the selected commodities from reaching us through other member states. We all agree that we have to protect Hungarian agricultural producers at all costs, so that this situation cannot happen again. That Hungarian product, not only in terms of grain but also oil products, honey and others that come as exports to Hungary, that there be quality control measures in place. Until the European Union in Brussels adopts protective measures that are acceptable to us, then the ban could be extended, and by the 30th of June we would like to get ahead on these questions with Brussels. If not, then further sanctions would remain in place in the interest of Hungarian farmers. The Hungarian government supports and backs Hungarian farmers. Thank you very much. A firm decision by the member states was met with a rapid response by the European Commission. In this context, it is important to emphasise that trade policy is an exclusive competence of the European Union, so unilateral action is unacceptable. In such difficult times, it is crucial to coordinate and agree on all decisions within the EU.
Thank you very much. Maybe let me start by saying that we are already in contact with the relevant authorities, so the authorities of the EU member states that are announcing these measures and also the authorities of Ukraine to properly understand the scope of the measures and the legal basis, because we don't have full clarity on that. In parallel, of course, it's important to remind that trade policy is of exclusive competence, which means that it's at European Union level that such decisions can be taken. And that's why we have been saying that unilateral action is not possible under EU trade policy. Now we are considering a second package. This is still under discussion, so we cannot provide any details at this stage on the amount or on the allocation criteria. But what is important to highlight is that we are taking into consideration the impact of these increased imports on the frontline countries, and we are very grateful that these countries have been helping and supporting Ukraine to move products out of Ukraine because of the blockage of other exit ports that is happening because of the war. And in this context, we are discussing, but we don't have details yet on the second package.
Any solution to create a situation where the Polish farmer is competitive and has the opportunity to sell his product and has the conditions to do so. On the other hand, we have EU regulations and this Ukrainian grain standard. In response to the Polish government's decision, the Ministry of Agrarian Policy and Food of Ukraine issued a statement. A statement of the Ministry of Agrarian Policy and Food of Ukraine. We understand that Polish farmers are in a difficult situation. However, we would like to emphasize that the most difficult situation right now is for Ukrainian farmers. It is on the territory of Ukraine that the war is taking place. It is the Ukrainian farmers who are suffering colossal damage as a result of the war of Russia against Ukraine. Ukrainian farmers are dying in their fields from Russian missiles. At the same time, the Ukrainian agricultural producers ministers understand the needs of their Polish colleagues. They hope for mutual understanding, and they look forward to constructive dialogue in order to reach a common agreement. Up to 3 million tonnes of grain destined for Africa have remained in Poland, according to the daily Rzeczpospolita. According to the Ukrainian Ministry of Agriculture, the transport of grain through Poland should be restored immediately and unconditionally. The minister, Mykola Solski, also plans to visit Romania and Slovakia this week. The Ukrainian delegation is not scheduled to visit Hungary.